All right, we're back. Got the air conditioner going over here. Pretty hot outside. Having ourselves a little heat wave today and tomorrow. Today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. It's gonna be like 100 degrees both days. Anyway, time has come to begin putting the heads on this small block Chevrolet. So I got some aluminum aftermarket heads here. The first thing I noticed, we got some kind of little sticky residue. I don't know what that's for, but I'll get a little mineral spirits and clean that off of there before we put this on the motor. But one of the first things caught my eye was the coolant temperature sensor port is a 3/8 NTP, and the OEM coolant temperature sensor is a 1/2 NTP. This says AC, made in the USA. I even went through the process of cleaning it up so it looked nice to go on the new engine. And it doesn't fit. So that's really annoying. Either I'm going to find an adapter for this and continue to use this, although it would probably stick way out here like a mile. I don't know. Or just go ahead and find a 3/8 NTP coolant temperature sensor. But we don't have to solve that just yet. I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and wipe down the underside of this thing with a little mineral spirits, and let's go ahead and bolt this thing to the engine. Got ourselves some basic instructions here. Cylinder head bolts, 70 foot-pounds. There's our torquing pattern right there, and we'll do that in 3 steps, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, 20, 50, and 70. I'm just making that up. Rocker arm studs are going to be 45 pounds. Manifold bolts are going to be 35 pounds. So there you go. So what this really means is we got a lot of screwing ahead of us. So let's get busy. All right, we're ready to bolt the head up to an engine, I think. So first off, we got the ARP head bolt kit. I'm assuming there's 34 in there. There's 17 on each head. Got some instructions. 180,000 PSI, 17/16" diameter bolts. That's pretty impressive. The comical thing that I find here is, if the cylinder head bolts protrude into a water jacket, lubricate the threads of the bolts with ARP thread sealer. Okay, that's fine. Well, you know, me and a noob and everything, I was like, which ones protrude into a water jacket? Okay. Well, I got my camera out and looked at the engine block, and all of them do. On a Gen 1 small block Chevy factory OEM block, every single solitary head bolt protrudes into a water jacket. All of them. So, of course, my local parts house did not have the proper thread sealant. I could get the ARP stuff, but I have to order it because nobody's got that. You have to order it from, you know, someplace else. And or you could get the Permatex thread sealant with PTFE, number 80632, and that is what we are going to use. So now, also before we get started, your head bolts come with washers. Apparently there's a chamfered side, which I'm assuming means that the side that is slightly less 90-degree-ish. Position the chamfered side of the washer on the bolt so it faces the bolt head. And lubricate the underhead of the bolt and the washers with ARP Ultra Torque fastener assembly lubricant, which is right here. So we have everything we need now. I was about to bolt these up, but I didn't have any of this stuff and had to make a 20-mile run to O'Reilly because my local O'Reilly doesn't have it, which is fine. It's kind of the one here is like a satellite store, you know. So usually I end up at the distribution center, and they have everything. And I got the head cleaned up with the mineral spirits, so I think we're ready to put this thing on the motor. So without further ado, let's get after it. All right, we got our Fel Pro small block Chevrolet engine gasket, head gasket here. Careful. Kids' gloves, don't you know? Let's see. All right, that was easy enough. Looking good. All right, so if you don't know, you got 3 different size bolts on these small block Chevy heads. You got a shorty, which goes on the outside here, and you got 2 medium sized ones that go on the ends, and then all the rest of them are long and they go sort of in the middle there. Okay, so that's the way it goes down. We've got the Permatex thread sealant mobile workbench over here, otherwise known as a bar stool, and we'll give a, goodness gracious, that's a generous portion. And we got 1 bolt in it. At least we know it won't fall down. This liquid thread sealant may be one of my new favorite products, actually. It's pretty nice. All right, these aftermarket bolts are 1/2 inch instead of 5/8 like the OEM ones. Anyway, so I'm just going ahead and snug these up with the battery wrench here, and then we'll break the torque wrench out. And then we'll do our proper torquing pattern. All right, those are all lightly screwed in. All right, we're going to go ahead and follow the pattern here and start off with 30 pounds, I guess. All right, that's the basic pattern, and I'm going to do that 2 more times. We'll end up at 70 pounds. I think I'll do the next round at 50. This was 30, and then I'll do the 3rd round at 70, and I'll be right back. All right, while we're waiting on the lifters to soak in oil, let's go ahead and put this oil dipstick tube back into the engine. I cleaned it out pretty well. That was pretty uneventful, wasn't it? Looks like it's home. Yeah. Well, that was hard. All right, let's go ahead and loosely place our rocker studs and guide plates on the engine here. We'll need to set the clearance between the block and the push rods later, so we can't tighten these down just yet. Look at that, it says Urson on it, isn't that pretty? I better get myself some gloves on here to put the rest of these in. That's a pretty tight fit there, you know, in that lifter bore and everything, and I don't want any debris on my fingers getting in there. There we go. That's number 6. So it's at top dead center already, so that one's sitting evenly. That's why that is the way that it is, because our timing set is on dot to dot. Trying not to make a mess, you know. We'll loosely place our push rods down in here. And we'll have to clearance them with the guide plates and the block and all that jazz. All right, let's go ahead and get our rocker arms on here. Probably not necessary, but I'm putting these in oil before I slip them on here. Maybe overkill, but yeah, whatever. All right, I got hung up on this last rocker here. Had a little notchy place in it and just didn't feel quite right, you know. And I went ahead and soaked it down in mineral spirits, cleaned it real good, and then I blew it out with a hose, and probably has some debris in there somewhere, but and I oiled it down. It's smooth now though. I was a little worried there for a minute, I ain't gonna lie. Let's put it back here on this back one. That way, if you have a problem, you know, on the back of the engine, that'll be easy to get to. All right, I went inside and had myself some lunch, supper, whatever you want to call it, and took a break. We need to go ahead and align / adjust these guide plates and get them tightened down. In order to do that, we'll need to turn the engine. Before I turn this engine, I want to do a little bit of priming. Of course, we won't be able to get, you know, primed to the top. I'm not worried about that, but I would like to pump some oil into those main bearings and, you know, get it along here on these lifters and whatnot. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going with the VR1 Valvetrain 1030. I got a little over 3 quarts in here. And I've used the other in a container over there to oil various engine parts. I'm not going to use what's in the container. I'll go get some more oil at a later date. But let's go ahead and just do this. How about that? All right, so in order to do this, for each one, you'll need to make sure you're on the base circle on the cam. We know that number 6 is already. I don't know why, you know, I was looking at the Edelbrock tutorial on YouTube, and they're like, yeah, make sure it's on the base circle and then set your guide plate clearances. I'm like, why does that even matter? I don't know. Is it big, when you extend it, it changes? I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with number 6. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get this guide plate adjusted. I'm not going to go crazy with this. I just want to prime this thing a little bit. If I can see it. Well, I just got a shoe full of oil because I didn't put the oil pressure sensor into the oil filter housing. That's pretty awesome. Well, at least we know the pump works. How about that? It's just one fiasco right after another. All right, there's the original oil pressure sensor, whatever you want to call it. I cleaned it up with the brass wheel over there on the drill press, and looks pretty good. Introl is written on it. I guess that's the manufacturer. It's okay to screw up. Just, you know, suck it up and go on, you know what I'm saying? My new most favorite substance here. We'll just put a little dab of this on the, there was a little bit of Teflon tape on here already from the factory. I assume it was from the factory. Did they have Teflon tape in the late 70s? I don't know. Tell you what I really need to do is run up to O'Reilly and get myself an oil pressure gauge. What do y'all think about that? I was talking to you guys and I almost forgot about this guy right here. So on this engine, as with a lot of others I'm assuming, that oil pressure sender won't fit right there. Got to have this little extension. So let's get that in place. Not sure how much force is needed on that. It's pipe thread, so, you know, just put it on there until it gets snug, I reckon. Yeah, that's probably fine right there. Put a dab more on there. So that extension is a, let's see, what is it? 11/16. Can y'all see my bare feet? That damn oil went all in my shoe. Ooh, hilarious. All right, so let's tighten this health hazard down here. That's probably fine. If it leaks, I'll tighten it some more. All right, we're back at it. Oh yeah. I got oil spewing out that return hole in the back of the block. So I'm gonna call that good. I wanted to get some oil on that, on those crank main bearings, you know, because I'm gonna be spinning this motor around, and well, I just wanted that peace of mind, you know what I'm saying? And take these back off of here temporarily and move our guide plate from side to side to achieve proper clearance. And we have plenty, actually. All right, so you the rocker arm studs, you want to tighten them down fairly snugly by hand, but then you won't be able to move the guide plate with a little screwdriver or something to make sure that you have proper clearance. So according to Edelbrock, they say 5/1000ths between the edge of the push rod and the bore of the hole through the cylinder head. So, you know, that I can see daylight, so if I can see daylight, that's plenty. That looks pretty good. All right, so the rockers are squarely onto the tips of the valves, valve stems that is. Although the rockers are not precisely parallel, I've read that that is apparently a thing. But we have the correct geometry and we have the correct spacing, so we'll put a finger on that. All right, I believe I got that guide plate adjusted about as good as I can get it. I'm sure I'll learn more about it as I go on and do all the rest of them. So let's go ahead and torque this down to 45. All right, so number one over here is on the base circle, so let's do that next. Lots of room here, apparently. So let's go ahead and tighten that down. By the way, the curved side on this thing goes down. Like this, the hinge point in here has got a flat side that goes up. So anyway, if you didn't know that already, I'm sure like a million people know that. Actually, more than a million, like maybe like a billion. It's only the most popular engine ever devised in the history of the world. I see light between the push rod and the head over there. I got plenty of room over there. I ain't worried about that. And I got my my little wheels. Put that over just a touch. That might have been too much. That looks pretty close to me. Let's back that off. I'm gonna call that good. The guy on Edelbrock YouTube channel said 5,000. It's like, how the hell are you supposed to measure that? You're not gonna measure that. You're just gonna look and see if you got some daylight. All right, got it as good as I can get it. Everything's centered and I got my gaps and everything, so 45 it is. And we got our little lock doohickeys on there. Got an Allen set screw in it. Pretty standard fare. Not rocket science. But we're just going to get these on here finger tight, hopefully. And then we'll move on to the next one. All right, I'm not going to bore you with that procedure. for the next 18 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and set the alignment and clearance for all the rest of the guide plates, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we've got all the guide plates adjusted properly. Going ahead and put these locks on the rocker arms now. And I don't know why they embedded the locking Allen set screw so deeply into the lock, but they did. Not sure what that's about. Probably ease of packaging or something. Anyway, I gotta run it out and then lightly put it on each rocker arm. So up next, what we're going to do is adjust the, well, I guess you'd say valve lash, or in other words, we've got to take all this movement out of the push rods. Push rods have got to be set there so they're nice, and they play wonderfully with the rest of the universe and all that kind of jazz, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't know what you call it. I just know how to do it. Because you know why? Because I saw somebody else do it. So there. Ha! Anyway, let me get these in here. Got 2 more to go. And then we're going to start adjusting these valves. And there's a specific procedure for that, which I'm sure every other engine builder on the face of the planet already knows about. So, but we're going to go through it anyway. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're going to go ahead and adjust the valves on this thing. I'm going to do intake first, which is this one. I'm on number 2, and then we'll do the exhaust. So we've got to turn the motor until we just see that exhaust valve open. Right there. Okay, now we know that the intake is on the base circle of the cam, and now we can adjust this push rod on the intake side of number 2. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so we're going to adjust our lock here until we get the up and down play to just disappear. Right there. You can still twist it just as long as the up and down is gone. Now we're going to go almost a half a turn on our lock here. All right, almost a half a turn. About 2/3. Then we're going to lock this set screw down pretty tight. And then we're going to finish our half turn. And then we're going to double check the set screw again. All right, that one's adjusted. So let's go ahead and do the exhaust now. I'm going to turn the engine again, and what we want is for the intake to just start going back down. All right, it's coming up. Now, starting to go back down. There it goes. Intake just went down slightly, so we know the exhaust is on the base circle. Same procedure. Now, I want to double check, make sure your push rod's in the right place, in the dead center of the lifter and dead center of that rocker, you know. Be bad otherwise. All right, shake it up and down until that vertical play is gone. And now we're going to do a half a turn, well, almost a half a turn. Now we're going to tighten our, I need one of those T-handled Allen sets. All I have is these L-shaped ones. All right, we're going to tighten that guy down. Let's finish our half a turn here. There we go. And you can still turn it. That's the basic procedure. All right, only 7 more to go, so I'll be back shortly. All right, last one. Number 5 over there. Rotate our motor around, get it into position to do the intake. So our exhaust is right here, and We're going to spin the motor around until we see the exhaust just start to open. Keep your eye on it right there. Alright, now the intake is on the base circle of the cam. Alright, so jiggle it up and down. Tighten our little nut until the jiggle goes away. About almost a half turn there. We're going to send this set screw on down. And then we're going to tighten the set screw. And then we're going to finish our turn. And you're done. Well, all right, folks, I think that's going to be it for this weekend. Pretty much accomplished my goal. I'm not an engine builder, so I have to go really slowly. And I have to follow in directions and look at videos and read books and all those kinds of things. So I'm pretty meticulous. If you haven't watched some of my Mercedes content, you probably didn't know that. But yeah, I guess meticulous might be a word to use. But anyway, so I'm going to use my same MO or method of operation for working on this Chevy small block, even though it is one of the most populous engines on the face of the planet. But anyway, that's all for this weekend. I got the items done that I wanted to. We got the heads on, we got the rockers on, we got the valves adjusted, we got the oil system primed. That's actually quite a bit for me because I tend to be a little slow, but that's okay. We're going to get there eventually. In the next video, I think we'll go ahead and get the balancer on the front of the engine, and of course the intake, and probably start. This thing's going to start looking like an engine more and more every day. So, and then before you know it, we'll be sticking that 5-speed gearbox on the back side back here where I'm at. All right, folks, that's all for now. Appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy restoring your classic C3 Corvette, even though it may not be as original as you originally anticipated.